Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a GeekVerse Thought Bubble. Oh my goodness, long-time listeners know I used to do this a lot. Solo casts, I've missed this. I miss me talking to you and you tell me how wrong I am. But I used to do solo mini casts or just news updates and whatnot when I had some time. Lately, I've not had the time. First of all, I'm Travis Snell, the new GeekVerse Gauntlet champion. Check the video up there, see how I won it. Suck it, Dilmas. Anyways, not to brag, but usually don't have time for these things. And truthfully, news has been pretty light lately. Been a lot of trailers, been a lot of we're doing this panel on Comic-Con's coming up and this and that, yeah, all this. So used to do these a lot. As you can see what I tell, you know what we're talking about today. I had to get on my soapbox here and start talking because man, do I love talking about DC news or controversy or what it is, because it's just a revolving wheel. You know, that's the one thing I'll say about DC. I love DC. You know, they've had some problems over the years. But for covering news, much more exciting than Marvel. Because Marvel's just like, we have this movie that's coming out here. There's your director. Here we go. It's going. Which is a good thing for a fan. Because it's like, oh, it puts you at rest. But then for DC, when there's all these, you know, highs and lows and whatnot to cover, it's quite fun. So, Flash. As you can see, big comic books guy. I have a Daredevil hat on, a Green Lantern shirt on, Flash one I was gonna wear. It's in the fucking laundry. I'm so mad. I should have done laundry, could have had it for the cast, but either way, oh my god, Marvel and DC, who would have thunk? Big fan. Flash is probably my top 10 favorite comic book characters of all time. Love Barry Allen. Barry Allen specifically. I even like Kid Flash a lot too recently. So this movie has been announced for a while Ezra Miller is playing the Flash. We all know that. He's gonna be in Justice League. He was in Squad. He was tiny in BBS. So this director thing has been nuts. So it's gone through a lot of stuff. It's kind of been through, I'll do a quick little trail, follow me here, and we'll get to where we're going. So first it was, Lord Miller wrote the draft, or they wrote a treatment, right, and maybe a script and whatnot. And there was kind of rumors they were going to direct, didn't happen. And then Seth Gordon-Smith rewrote the treatment, wrote an actual script or a storyboard, or just storied it out. He didn't direct, which I was happy with, to be honest. Rick Famuyiwa, I hope I said that name, but that's why you say it quick so people don't know. He was also supposed to direct Love, Dope, and I thought this is a perfect choice. Gone. So lots of controversy with the Flash directors. And since Rick, we heard a couple weeks, which I'll get into in a second, but since Rick, we have heard very minimal on Flash. It almost felt like Flash was taking a back seat for a little bit because we had heard about Gotham City Sirens, heard about Batgirl, heard about Nightwing. Flash was just kind of, we even heard about Shazam, you know, getting a director, lights out director. That should be good. We hadn't heard much about Flash, and I was waiting because I want the Flash movie. I love the Flash TV show, but I still want a movie. I still want to see it on the cinematic big screen. I love Ezra Miller. I think he could give an all-time great comic book performance, being funny, being like emotionally powerful, and like a good superhero. So I think he was a perfect choice. So today, well, I guess it started a couple weeks ago, and I guess it's kind of hand in hand. Three directors have come out, and I'm going to break them out. I'm going to tell you which one that I think is personally the best choice. Robert Zemeckis, Matthew Vaughn, and Sam Raimi. Now, a few weeks ago, maybe a month, I think it was in April, Screen Junkies, who I'm a big fan of, love Honest Trailers, love movie fights, I'm a Screen Junkies Plus subscriber, they, in April, were like, hey, we got a scoop. And they talked about Zemeckis being in talks for The Flash and everything like that. I didn't necessarily believe it because, like I said, I love those guys a lot. They're on my favorite YouTube pages. Because they haven't broken much news. You know, I've heard them occasionally say, oh, we've heard from somebody, but not a huge YouTube video, we got a scoop sort of deal. So it seemed kind of odd. And then Umberto Gonzalez, who, if you're watching this, you probably know who he is. He's a big scooper. He's been more right than wrong recently, and I'm a fan of his. I follow him on Twitter. I like him. He and many other scoopers and whatnot were kind of like, yes, Zemeckis was in talks, but he's not where, like, this is kind of old news, like what you're reporting. This came and went, you know, and it sounded like it was people that were texting each other, like, oh, here's an ad for you, in a relationship, or you got someone's number, right? You're interested in them, and you're texting back and forth to try and set something up. You're, oh, maybe do a date this day. Oh, no, I'm busy this day. And it felt like Zemeckis and them had those texting conversations and then just split up. Just like you'll do with that person's like, this isn't going anywhere. Let's tag out. Okay, nice seeing you. Maybe I'll see you down the line. Great. That's what it felt like. And the scoopers were like, in Hollywood reporters and people like that were, okay, he was in talks, but that had already passed. That's gone. So let's talk about Zemeckis first. Let me bring up his fancy IMDb page, because we know all the big stuff, like the fucking Back to the Futures and Forrest Gump, but there's more I want to take a note to. So Robert Zemeckis is apparently the front runner. I'm not a fan of it. And not in the sense of, we talked about this on Dynamic Duo a long time ago when there was a huge list of people that were for the Batman. And for me, I saw Matt Reeves, I'm like, great choice. I saw Fede Alvarez and Denis Villeneuve, I'm like, if I had to pick, I'd go more over there. But if I get Matt Reeves, because he was the rumored front runner, and that's why I think Zemeckis will get it, because he was a rumored frontrunner, Matt Reeves. There's another situation not too long ago, I thought, that somebody was a rumored frontrunner and got it for DC. I could be wrong, but maybe I'm just thinking of Matt Reeves. So I think Zemeckis will get it. We'll get into that in a second if he gets it. But with those, I was like, I think I equate it to, Denis Villeneuve and Fede Alvarez. I really want that chicken. That chicken looks great. I want the chicken. But you know what? Matt Reeves is a pretty fucking juicy steak. For me, Zemeckis is like a really well done fish, and that's not to be an age joke. That's just to be like, oh, this fish is good for fish, And my thing is, he's not in my top 5 for choices. And out of these two, I go lower. Like, he's not even my top 10. And it's not even anything against his age, because I think there are many great directors, and he's one of them that I could see doing a superhero film and doing it well. I don't think it has to be someone young and hungry and whatnot. I would maybe prefer it in this case because it's dealing with a teenager character, but at the same time, so here are the pros for him. Great director. Oscar, Academy Award winning director. That's not a bad thing to have as far as making the movie, and that's not a bad thing to have as far as advertising. He's great with characters. You look at Forrest Gump, you look at humor with Roger Rabbit, and you look at what I'm talking about, maybe my angst of, can he handle a teenager like at this age or that sort of deal, and in today's day and age, who knows, but Back to the Future is a very good example of he can do that. He can focus on someone younger as a protagonist and make them journey along. My thing are 2 things. One, or I guess a 3 thing of one, it just didn't jump out. It didn't get me out of the bed in the morning. I believe I could hear something, and that's the thing, maybe I just don't picture him doing a superhero movie. Maybe Back to the Future is kind of like a superhero movie. It's just something for me that I just don't get out of bed in the morning. It doesn't get me super excited so I guess that's the first thing. Not really just my pick. 2 is, I hate to be it, and Hollywood does that and whatnot, but it's kind of that what have you done for me lately sort of thing. And I hope this is the thing. If all I gotta hear is an interview from him, and him go, you know what, I love this character, I have a good take, I want to do this, I want to do this, I've been a fan of this character for years, I've always been wanting to do a superhero project, but I wanted to wait for the right one. This can be very nullified for me easily. And this thing, if he gets picked, I'm not gonna be like, ugh, I will be disappointed because there's other people I want. But if he gets picked, I'll just be like, okay, I think the movie's gonna be at least good. It'll be good in his hands. It'll be great. It's not anything where, no offense, but Seth Gordon-Smith, when I saw that, I was like, that's not a good choice. This, I can see all the reasons why they would choose him. But like I said, I hate to say that, the what have you done for me lately? So I'm gonna go to just director credits. So let's start from the beginning. Did all the Back to the Futures, Forrest Gump, Tales of the Crypt, which I loved, Castaway, all these great movies. I'm waiting to talk about the other ones. Flight, I could throw in there. But here's my thing with all his movies, and this is why this is 100% a personal choice, so I can get if someone's like, he is a great choice for Flash, I understand that. That could work. Out of all those movies, I think Castaway is my favorite. None of them are movies that are in my top 50 or maybe in my top 100. I hate to say it. I really liked Forrest Gump. I actually just saw it for the first time last year, which is crazy because I know I'm a big film buff and whatnot, but there's certain films that I've missed that you miss, you don't get around watching. Everyone's like, this is the greatest movie of all time, or it's really good and the hype is building up. Luckily, when I saw Forrest Gump, I actually liked it. But even Back to the Future, and maybe it's just because when I grew up, I just didn't love the movies. I really liked them. I really enjoyed them. They're fun, enjoyable times. I love those actors. I love those characters. But it's not, or I guess I really like those characters. I really like those actors. I love the actors. But it's not anything that man, Back to the Future is the bee's knees. It's the same reason why everyone lost their fucking mind about Ghostbusters. For me, I really like Ghostbusters. It's probably because I didn't grow up with it. I've seen it. I really like it when they remade it. And everyone's like, oh, this is terrible. It's ruining it. Didn't care. It's it's not just, but it's an 80s remake of a popular movie. The same way with people you can't touch Back to the Future. Someone will touch it eventually. Maybe when I'm even dead, but someone will touch it. Back to the original point, though, what have you done for me lately? Beowulf, which I think Liam really liked, former Dynamic Duo host. So, maybe I'll give him that. It's alright. The Polar Express, A Christmas Carol, Flight, The Walk, and Allied, which Allied I've seen about 20 minutes of, and I was like, I don't need to see this, even though I really love Marion Cotillard and Brad Pitt. That's my thing of, I hope this is he's really passionate about it, and not hey, my career's kind of been in a down slump, I should do one of those super big superhero movies. This is complete conjecture. I have no reasoning for it, but you see that a lot of times where people, whether it's an action series or a comic book series, you'll see people take it on and maybe not be so passionate about it, or like I said, kind of a project like this to give themselves a shot in the arm, or their career a shot in the arm, and be like, oh, he was really down the dumps, but now, this is going to be huge. It's the same way, look at Guy Ritchie. His past few films have bombed. If he knocks it out of the park with Aladdin, his stock rises all the way up. So that's kind of like comparing the two. And for me, and that was the second one, I just don't have anything that I love that out of his movies. And I just want someone very passionate about. Maybe he is, and maybe we'll find that about when he gets directed, or when he gets the job, and they'll put out some joint statement, and maybe that'll help. But there's just something about it where I see him like, okay, that's good, but I don't really want it, and I will be disappointed when he gets it. I'll wait and see a trailer. Of course, I'm going to be there opening day, and I think it will be at least good. But I think the other two, I think there's other directors, but I'm just focusing on the 3 picks right now. I think the other 2 could create great ones, but they also have, well, I think 1 has an asterisk, and maybe 2, actually, because I'll use the logic towards that. So, Robert Zemeckis is a front runner. I'm hoping it's not going to happen. No shot against him. I hope he goes on and makes some other great films, but there's something about it that it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like, boom, perfect. Even this thing, I had other picks with Matt, like I said, with Denis Villeneuve and Fede Alvarez. But when I saw Matt Reeves go, boom, I understand 100%, and that gets me excited because I love the fucking 8 movie, or the 8th movie. Well, I guess he only did the one, and that he did the best one. And Let Me In was a good remake. So I was like, perfect. Where this is like, Matt Reeves wasn't my first choice, but I can go perfect choice. This is not my first choice, and I can't throw out the perfect choice. It's just, there's something about it. But I could see him nailing the humoristic light side of it down, using Back to the Future and Roger Rabbit as a big example. So that's what I mean. If he gets it, okay, it's fine. I'll move along. I'll get excited because Flash comes in the big screen. And the other thing that is a little bit of a bummer, which is why it's a spoiler for who my choice is. Apparently, if he gets it, Flash might be delayed a little bit because he's doing movie Steve Carell. I don't really want that. I want to get Flash as quickly as possible. Not like, rush the production, but quickly as possible, not have to wait for another movie. Like, get someone free and available, especially if it's not someone... If this was Edgar Wright, and they're like, hey, he's going to make one more movie and then do The Flash, I'd be like, yeah, you fucking let him do that one more movie. Like, it's Edgar Wright. Robert Zemeckis, let him go make his movie. Go find someone else. So that's my thoughts on him. Who knows? We'll see. Matthew Vaughn. Now, here's an interesting thing. I think he's one of the best directors in the world right now. That's not a huge statement to say, because I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. He did Kick-Ass. He did The Kingsman, which is Kingsman 2 is coming out in September, and he did X-Men First Class, which is phenomenal. Yeah, it is. It's fun. It's strange to say phenomenal, but it's not your favorite of the series. But I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. And that leads me into my point of why, if he gets it, I think his style really suits it if you look at Kick-Ass and if you look at Kingsman. I think he could do a really high-octane, flashy, pun intended, good action, superhero movie, blockbuster. Something I could look at him doing this and being a little bit edgy over Spider-Man Homecoming. The movie which is tracking really well. I think that's the movie that young people be talking about, kids be talking about. I think he can make a movie for everybody. Even though he's done some people I saw in comments were like, oh, he'll ruin the source material. I don't think so at all. He has much respect for comic book characters. And I don't think I was talking to someone earlier that he likes to make punk rock movies. I don't know if I want punk rock Flash. I could see it, but Barry Allen to me is always a bit more... He's not as... he's quippy, but he's a bit more good-natured and nice-natured, and he's not so much of a punk rock, more of like a classic rock guy. That's always been my Barry Allen, And that's why I really like the TV show, because I think they nail Barry Allen. They could be doing a different take with Ezra Miller's. I'm fine with that. I just don't want a Man of Steel, let's strip this character down and take away everything that, defines him and make the Flash. I don't want that. I can do a different take, because I was talking about this with the secretary, and she's saying, well, I want them to do something different because we already have Flash TV show. There's 3 seasons. It could still be running. I don't want the same thing on the big screen. I think that he does a good job of, if you look at the Flash, it's very family friendly. It's very CW. He would not go full rated R. They're not going to do that. But I think he would push the envelope and make it very hip. So at one point in the story, it was just Zemeckis and Vaughn. And you know what? I looked at Vaughn, I'm like, that's Matt Reeves. That's a perfect choice. Not my choice in this situation, but a perfect choice. My asterisk is, if I didn't hear that, and this is complete conjecture because we don't know, it was just a rumor. If I didn't hear the rumor of Vaughn directing the Man of Steel 2 sequel, or whatever they're going to call it, that's follow to Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, I would be 100% on board this. That's why I'm not. That's the asterisk. If someone were to come out and tell me, hey, that was never real bad. Okay, great, let him do the Flash. But he has had a long history, and he even said before Man of Steel came out, he said, I hope they don't take this certain tone with the character. I hope they don't do and copy what Nolan was doing with Batman, because Superman is this and this and this. And then you find the interview, he gave I should have pulled up. Idiot. He gave lots of examples of what Superman should be. And I'm not the biggest Superman fan, but when I heard that, I was like, it sounds like he has a perfect grasp on the character. And that's what I really like. And the reason is, some people might be like, that's strange. Like, you look at Kick-Ass, you look at Kingsman, like, those are very, edgy, punk rockish movies, like I'm describing them. They also have a lot of heart. And that's the biggest thing. And that's why he could do a Flash. That's why he could easily do the Flash, and I'm fine with that. I think he'd be a great choice. But they have a lot of heart. And for me, like in a court case, Exhibit A, those are great. X-Men First Class is very, for me, strange in his filmography, because I think he did those, and then I believe he did Stardust, right? He did Stardust, and he did Layer Cake. I forgot about he did Layer Cake. But like, I think I think more of his style is the Kick-Ass Kingsman. Or, sorry, what he's more known for, because those were his bigger hits. That's what got him out into the mainstream. And I think those are Stardust, Layer Cake are his first two movies, so you're kind of like, okay, he's playing around, he's finding his way. Good movies, but I'm just saying, like, I felt like Kick-Ass and Kingsman, this is his tone. And that's why, for me, First Class stands out so much as filmography of, hey, look at what I can do, and I can do something different. He still has that heart, and First Class is, to me, all about heart, but he does it in a way where it doesn't have to be punk rock. To me, that is the classic rock. That is almost like a 60s 70s nice slow jam rock, and something that almost Bob Dylan like, or Johnny Cash like it's not a super heavy action movie, it's not a super heavy quippy movie. It's very filled with heart. Points for me. Now I can speak. Filled with heart. And it's filled with character-driven stories. And that's the best thing. And that's why I really love First Class. And that's the best thing that I think Superman needs. Because Man of Steel, I did not like the character. And BVS, he does not get many character-driven moments. I think he's a perfect fit for Superman. To me, like I said, using First Class. If you look at First Class, start to finish, and you could put, that movie with Superman skin, obviously it's going to be completely different. But you know what I mean. The tone, the heart, and the spirit of that movie, you transferred over to a Superman movie, that would be fucking great. That's going to be one of your best comic book movies ever. I have no doubt in my mind, if they announce Matthew Vaughn's doing a Superman movie, that could be a potential top 10, top 25, whatever you want to call it. That could be great. I really want that. And that's why I don't want him to do the Flash, because the second I see him do the Flash, it's like, what does that mean for Superman? Like, who's doing it? Is Zack Snyder sticking around, which I don't really want? That's my worry of, if he does if he does Flash, that means there's no Superman. And maybe it was never that serious of a conversation. Maybe they have different plans for it, because there's been rumors about The Rock fighting, The Rock fighting Superman. No, Rock playing Black Adam fighting Superman. And maybe it was this thing like, hey, we want to do this. And he's like, but I want to do this. But they're like, yeah, but we're doing this. So it's like, okay, I don't want to do that version. Maybe he want to do something with like Brainiac, or just a more Superman story. Maybe he didn't want anything to do with Black Adam. I'm just playing a scenario in my head. And it's like, okay, this isn't going to work out. But what if he did the Flash? Because who cares? He could fucking do the Flash, and then Superman 3 rolls around. He could do that too. Like, I want to see that more. James Gunn for Guardians has talked about that maybe he'll do other films. I want to see them like sprinkle their toes in other sandboxes. For me, it's not like actors, directors. He's made Kick-Ass, he's made Kingsman, he's made X-Men First Class. 3 very different comic books, 3 very different comic films, and he's shown his strengths in all of them. And I want to see that from directors. I don't want to see them be like, You know, I know Nolan's not going to do it, but I don't want to see like, okay, I've done Batman and I'm done. You know, if you want to, great. I'm going to go see whatever Nolan is going to do. But if they announced Nolan was doing some movie like in DC or even Marvel, I'd be like, man, I'm fucking excited. It's the same way Joss Whedon. It shouldn't be, okay, you got your shot, the Avengers, you're done. Fuck, I can't wait to see his Batgirl, you know? So Matthew Vaughn is a great choice. Out of these two, is the second runner for me. I like I said, Zemeckis is all right. Vaughn, if they pick him for Flash, I'll be a little, for a moment, I'll be a little bummed about Superman, but at the end they'd be like, man, we're going to Matthew Vaughn Flash. And that'd be pretty good. I think he'd do a great job with the Flash, so I think he's a great choice, but he's not my pick. My pick is the Dark Horse. The man who directed The Dark Man, or just Dark Man, speaking of dark. I'm picking Sam Raimi. Out of these three, I'm not going to go out of my actual choices. I'm picking Sam Raimi. And to me, I think he's honestly the dark horse of this. And I think there's probably getting a lot. I've seen some support for him, which is good. But I think originally when it was first posted, over the hours I've seen support. But at first it was very much a Zemeckis. And the story broke earlier with them two attached to. So that's why. But it's very Zemeckis Vaughn. Like, I want this. And I understand. But I think he is 100% the dark horse in this scenario. And it's Sam Raimi. I think I said it. If I didn't, it's Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi, director of the Evil Dead series, so Evil Dead 2, one of the greatest horror movies of all time, Army of Darkness, the OG Spider-Man series. He did Oz the Great and Powerful, which you can fucking hate me in the comments. I love that movie. I don't know why. It's not like a top 100, but it's something like, you don't have those movies that you just kind of like, but anytime you don't know what to put on, like on a Netflix, I'll go, oh, I'll put that on. It's a great watch. It's a great like background noise if I need to. But when I'm actually watching, I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed what he did. And I loved that movie. I don't know why, but I loved it. To me, Oz and the Powerful is what Alice in Wonderland should have been. So I don't know why that movie got so much hate. Drag Me to Hell was fun. And he hasn't done much. He's done that Ash vs. Evil Dead and then a little stuff here and there. So I want to see more from him just in general, because I'm a big Sam Raimi fan. Evil Dead and Spider-Man alone, but I think he's a dark horse because you have Robert Zemeckis, classic Hollywood Academy Award winning director. That's a sexy title. Matthew Vaughn, one of the hottest directors around right now. What he did with Kingsman was incredible. Taking that small franchise, making it huge. Same thing, Kingsman 2, I think is gonna. There's a good chance it might break box office records in September, to be honest, if you look at what's coming out that month. Kingsman 2 is gonna be a hit. So Matthew Vaughn, the kind of hot, sexy choice. Sam Raimi to me is 100% the dark horse in this race. And I think for me, when I was talking about taking the X-Men First Class and putting Superman's skin on it, that is the exact reason why I'm so excited by the Sam Raimi choice. If I think about Spider-Man, the original trilogy, which is fun, go check it out on YouTube, and if you want to get more of them for the $5 level on Patreon, you can watch them all. We've reviewed, in honor of Spider-Man Homecoming coming up, tongue twister. Kyle, Dylan, myself reviewed all the Spider-Man movies, even the Amazing Spider-Man ones, but we specifically reviewed, why, not specifically, we reviewed them all. I don't know why. We reviewed all three of them, so I literally watched them within the past few weeks of each other. And you think about Spider-Man, and to Spider-Man the OG one with Tobey Maguire, and you think about putting the Flash skin on that. That is what gets me the most excited out of all these picks. This is the pick that, if this happens, I'm going to be over the moon. This would be next to the Batman, because the Batman's my boy. I'm so excited for Nightwing. I'm so excited for Gotham City Sirens. I'm so excited for Batgirl. This would jump to the top, because I think he could do a fucking phenomenal job. Just a phenomenal job with the Flash. I think you're not going to have that edginess that Matthew Vaughn's going to bring, but he is going to bring this great sense of heart and character. To me, that's the biggest thing. And Matthew Vaughn can do that too. That, to me, is the steak and chicken comparison, where it's like, these are both great choices. But for me, I don't view Flash as punk rocky. And that's where, for me, if Vaughn gets that, I understand that's going to be maybe his take, maybe not. But I understand, sorry, Mike. I understand it's going to be his take. But I want more of the original feel and tone, and the TV show does that a lot. So I know some people might want a different version of it on the big screen, so that could be a detractor for Sam Raimi. Because if you look at Spider-Man, to me, I compare the Flash TV series to the OG Spider-Man series. They're very similar. But at the end of the day, I that's still the Flash, and I want to see that on the big screen. And I think Sam Raimi, you look at his background, you look at Evil Dead, he could do something different enough. If they want to do a different little bit of a tone, or take it a little bit away, or make it a bit zany and stand out, because they're going to want to make it stand out from the TV show. I have no problem, or I don't think it's going to be a problem doing that. I think Sam Raimi is adaptable enough to do that. And to me, the scope that he brings is what I really like. He made the reason why I love those Spider-Man movies, and a lot more than some of the other like DC or Marvel movies to date, is because it feels cinematic and it feels like a comic book. Not, and this is not shots at Civil War, because I love Civil War. It's my favorite MCU, favorite Marvel movie, and they did it well. But there's other movies where you get hyped because you see a moment from a comic, or you see a character, this and that, and you get excited, and it feels like a comic book because they're doing things from a comic book. Like I said, characters, plot lines, etc. Sam Raimi, for me, in his Spider-Man series, made it feel like a comic book. Like you were seeing panels. Things like when Spider-Man gets the Green Goblin bomb thrown at it, and it blows up, and it's all over in his face. Or the train fight with Doc Ock. He brought a scope and a cinematic epicness to the Spider-Man series. And that's why, to me, when you look at the two greatest trilogies, not two, but like in superhero-wise, before the thirds, X-Men and Spider-Man, I always thought X-Men had, their storylines were a bit deeper, but I thought that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man had a bigger scope and, like I said, a much more cinematic scope and an epicness to it. I really want this to happen. I have my heart set on it, but I also have my brain set on this is not going to happen. I've already been preparing myself since I saw it, but the second I saw that, I was just like, this would be perfect. I think, and especially with the family aspect, and with Iris, you look at Spider-Man, and maybe that's why some people won't want it, because they'll be like, oh, we already did that. But I feel that he can, I want him to do another shot at superhero movie, like with Matthew Vaughn, like I was talking about. I want him to do another take, because he always said that he wished that he did a Spider-Man 4 to make up for Spider-Man 3, because he felt that he let the fans down and it wasn't the greatest effort. I want him to get that mulligan. He can't get it with Spider-Man. Let him do it with the Flash. He has great humor. You want to talk about some of the best, funniest scenes in comic books, to me, in comic book films, is all the Bruce Campbell stuff. Think about Spider-Man 3, not the greatest movie. Bruce Campbell is like the maitre d' like kitchen guy, or the restaurant guy. Phenomenal. Man, we could get Bruce Campbell in a Flash. Excuse me. That should be a reason more or less just to hire him. But I think he would be perfect. And here's a big thing, too, that I think is very underrated. He did a good job. I think a lesser job with Doc Ock. But with Green Goblin and Doc Ock, and that's a controversial point. That's why you should go to our YouTube page or Patreon, because you can see why I think that about Doc Ock. I think even though with Doc Ock, there are much better villains than many people out there that the MCU produce, and DC, yeah, and DCU right now. Zod was good. I'll give them Zod. I think is their best. Did not like Lex Luthor, but that was a take. That wasn't how the way the character is handled. Doomsday, not handled the best. Enchantress, not handled the best. We'll see how Steppenwolf is in Justice League, but I don't think that's going to be anything to write home about. It's a lot of parademons. He does a good job. To me, the Spider-Man movies were a good balance. For me, myself, I found they were a good balance, and you got to see the villain side of the story. And for majority, 3 withstanding, majority, it all worked out and it all flowed really well. And you look at someone like Reverse Flash, you need his story to make sense, and you need to understand, like Green Goblin, William Dafoe's character, you need to understand his motivations and make them seem right to him, so it will seem right to us. If it's just, hey, I'm going to fuck up your life because I want to, or hey, I'm going to destroy Central City or Star City because I want to, it's like, no, like, let's give us more. And to me, he always gave us more with the villains for 1 and 2. And even 3 to a level. 3 is very flawed. That review is coming up, or you can go to Patreon. But, like, he has experience. He has great movies under his belt. And I think he'd be motivated to do this. I want to see this. Out of all these choices, to me, he is, and here's number 4, the perfect fit for it. Out of all of them. You can talk about maybe like Back to the Future better than all of Sam Raimi's movies. You can like Kingsman maybe more than Sam Raimi's movies. And that's up to you. But for me, he's the perfect fit. Like it's just that vibe. And you have that too. Maybe for you, you're sitting there being like, Robert Zemeckis is my perfect fit. That's what it feels like for me for all the reasons that I've laid out. the other thing is someone can say that to me, the same thing that I did Zemeckis. What has he done for us lately? And honestly, not as much, because like I said, if you didn't like Oz and Great and Powerful, then you didn't. So, and that was very mixed. I think it's maybe Rotten Tomatoes, so I can see a lot of people not liking that. Drag Me to Hell, if you didn't like horror, you're not really liking that. And he hasn't really done anything else. He's done TV shows, he has some shorts out. He produced Don't Breathe, which Don't Breathe is fucking great. So, I think it's time for Sam Raimi to come back. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I think he is the best choice, and I think my last point about it is there's some comics where the action around it or the villains make the story and the main character helps along or you like it enough. The Flash has to be about Barry Allen and the character of Barry Allen and the heart of Barry Allen and what it means to be the Flash. You look at Spider-Man 1, you look at Spider-Man 2, even Spider-Man 3 to an extent. He does that perfectly with Peter Parker and the Flash. Oh, fuck. Combo correct. God. He does that perfectly with Peter Parker and Spider-Man. That's the best thing about those movies is he nails the character. That's why sometimes Amazing Spider-Man didn't work. And yeah, maybe Tobey was too old and he didn't quip that much. I get it and I understand. And I could still see Tom Holland being the perfect Spider-Man. But the character for me of Peter Parker and what drives him and the little things around him, like Aunt May, like his friends, like Mary Jane, like his job, and the pressure of being Spider-Man and hiding that from everybody, he nailed. Those are the things that have to be in a Flash movie. Those are the things I want to be in a Flash movie. Those are the things that need to be in a Flash movie. And Sam Raimi can give us those things. That is my bad Kennedy impression. But he will give us a great Flash. It's not going to happen, though. I don't think. My only hope is, apparently, because Vaughn wants to do Kingsman 3, and Zemeckis wants to do that Steve Carell movie, that maybe they'll equal each other out. And Sam Raimi will sneak in. And I think it'll be a great choice. And I would really, really like that. I would be over the moon. So let me know about, what do you think about these three picks? What do you think about my assessment of all of them? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are you excited again? Obviously, you're excited for the Flash, but are you back to being excited now that wheels are actually moving? Who do you want? Let me know in the actual comments and give me your reason. You don't got to do a paragraph or anything, but let me know if you think Zemeckis is a perfect choice. Give me a few lines why we can talk about it. I love conversating with fans. You can go and check our other episodes, whether they're good or bad. I love to conversate with the fans. I have no problem. I love talking to you guys. Please like this video. Give us some love, that'd be great. If you hate all my opinions, I guess you're going to dislike it, and I'm sorry I let you down, I try my best, Yeah, and then check out all the things we have on our channel. We just dropped, a Netflix unveil. That's very fun. Last week we were talking about Wonder Woman predictions, box office, and if it was going to be good. That was before the critics saw it, so we had nothing going on. We talked about if it was going to be fresh, things like that. GeekVerse Gauntlet drops Saturday. You can check that out. It ends pretty good. Next Saturday is going to be Kirkland versus Tyler. #1 contendership to see you versus me in Halo 3. Not in Halo 3. They're playing Halo 3. I don't know what we're playing yet, but I'm excited to see who I'm going to beat next. But then Alien Covenant review is coming out this week. The best thing to do is just to like our Facebook or follow us on Twitter or go to our website or subscribe on YouTube because you can see all the geek goodness we're laying down. Man, hashtag Raimi for Flash. And also, I realized I did a hashtag Raimi for Flash and I spelt Raimi wrong. I forgot the first I. Fuck. Don't forget the first I, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in. I promise you, it won't be boring when you hear from me next. Who knows when you hear from me next? Hopefully when Sam Raimi gets the job.